Please join me in welcoming Owen Lau. He's an Oppenheimer senior analyst. Hi there, Owen. So both Coinbase and Bitcoin are up today. Is this just a macro positive jump due to inflation coming down, or does it have something to do with Coinbase's latest quarterly results?
Yeah, Christine, first of all, thank you for having me on. Really great to be here. So going back to your question, I think part of it is driven by the macro factor. We saw that the CPI number in the morning came in lower than expected. It does drive up a lot of the crypto asset prices today, along with Coinbase. But even though you compare Coinbase with other equities, it's somehow in line, going up in line with other equities as well. I do feel like there are some positives coming out from the quarter, even though the big headline is it's a big miss and revenue dropped by 60%. They had a $1.1 billion loss in the quarter. But again, they tried their best to manage the expense. If you look at the top line, bad, bottom line, bad. But if you look at the adjusted EBITDA, they managed to have a loss of only $151 million, which is in line with the analyst expectation. So there are many other good news actually coming out from the quarter. So I do think there's some company-specific news that helped the stock a little bit today.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because in an Oppenheimer note, I noticed you rated Coinbase outperform. So what's underlying that?
So we look at the stock on a longer-term basis. We understand that in the near term, because we are still going through a crypto winter, trading volume, it's going to be depressed in the near term. But I do think investors have looked past these near-term weak trading volume. So we look at the long-term thesis of Coinbase, which is this is one of the leading exchanges in the world, especially in the United States. And it's not just a trading or exchange platform. We believe it can evolve into something bigger than that, which can become an enabler of the crypto asset adoption. One evidence is they just have a partnership with Blackrock, and you can tell they have done a lot. Blackrock has done a lot of due diligence with many crypto native companies, but eventually they selected Coinbase to become their partner. So you can tell Coinbase can be one of the enablers in this industry. So longer term, we believe Coinbase can benefit from that.
On the earnings call, you asked what it would take for Coinbase to deploy more resources and whether it could take a $500 million hit to revenue. They said, we're prepared for crypto winters in a 2 to 4 year cycle. And if they were to take a loss of $500 million in revenue, they've run through risk scenarios and have said that, they have the resources to get through that. Were you satisfied with their answer?
So I do feel like they're taking actions, very tough actions to lay off 18% of the employees, and I feel bad about those employees. But I do believe that they're taking proactive actions to try to manage their cost base. Because we are in the crypto winter. Ironically, if you have the resources, you should invest. You shouldn't lay off people. But they are just not just them, but the whole industry, it's in a very tough situation. So they have to manage the expense appropriately. I do feel like if the trading volume decline further, I think they will take further action to try to manage the $500 million adjusted EBITDA loss going forward. Now, we don't know how the trading volume would go, but given the fact that they still have $6.2 billion USD resources on the balance sheet, if you do the math, I think they can survive through this winter for like 10 years or so if they can maintain their $500 million run rate. So I do have confidence for them to survive through this crisis or crypto winter.
10 years, wow. How long do you think a crypto winter could last this time around?
It's a good question, Christine. I don't think anybody knows. I hope it's because of these TradFi companies coming into this space, and there are more and more faster crypto asset adoption or digital assets adoption. In the past, we see the cycle last for around like 3-4 years. I just hope because of this adoption, this window can shorten a little bit.
Interesting. So they have also been asked to give voluntary information to the SEC. The SEC could indirectly investigate Coinbase and whether certain cryptocurrencies they are issuing are actually unregistered securities through this insider trading investigation into a former employee. So I wonder if you see any regulatory headwinds ahead for Coinbase.
So with the SEC, we believe these regulatory headline risks will continue, because we just don't have a sensible regulatory legal framework for now. And what that means is the SEC can do this kind of stuff, like maybe regulations through enforcement, because there's no groundwork. They can use the Howey test to challenge that. But the thing is, we keep hearing more and more bills coming out from the Congress. So in June, we have the Illustrated Brand crypto bill. I think 2 weeks ago, we have a Senate Agriculture Committee bill coming out from 4 senators, and they try to define digital commodities, which include Bitcoin and also Ethereum. They also try to require crypto exchanges like FTX, Binance, and Coinbase to register with the CFTC instead of the SEC. So I do feel like it's not all bad. We see some positive legal framework coming out. So I'm optimistic. But in the meantime, I do believe there will be regulatory headwinds hitting the stocks and hitting the industry. But I think in the end, I'm still optimistic.
And finally, just quickly, 30 seconds, what can you say to the importance of Coinbase as a barometer for Bitcoin?
I think the importance for Coinbase is it's still a leader in this space in the US crypto industry. They have so many different departments, they have so many different products coming out in the market, and they try to attack in different angles. So because they are a public company, because they have that reputation. Going back to my point about the Blackrock partnership, it just shows that when a company like that can survive or battle test in this cycle, it gives people confidence about the industry. So it gives people confidence about the digital assets like Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum or maybe the altcoins or so. So I do feel like, right, if Coinbase goes well, then Bitcoin can also do well as well.